All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for real. Hopefully you didn't catch any of that warm-up game because that was bad, and we don't like bad, we like baddies. In this baddie Overwatch League, Week 9, all dabs, no blab versus Walmy maybe. I'm AJS, I'm here with UTech. You guys there, Otto.
Yeah,
and
it's going to be a fantastic round of games. We have, as you said, we have Walmy Baby versus all dabs, no blab, and I'm excited to see what comes out, especially since Torbjorn is in play.
Yeah, we're gonna find out real fast if some of these teams think the Brigida killer is legit or not. Especially with some of these BOL teams, we've seen a lot of Brigida run. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some Torbjorn, especially with these two teams. Maybe if I had to pick 2 of the 6 teams in this league most likely to run Torbjorn Week 1, I would probably have picked these 2 teams. So I think we're gonna see her at some point here.
Now, I wanna let you in on a little secret, because last week I had the opportunity to cast some high-level games, and I think we might see this strategy employed. See how they're lining up in this small little red building with the Mei, with the heavy frontliners. No wonder Scotch on the Ryan, Zarya, Babur with the Mei. They are going to be holding her right there in that room, and they're not going to be able to push that cart for too long.
Yeah, we'll see if Senpai and Freefy can get some splash damage into there as these two teams just faced off at each other. Diva, you are shooting rockets the wrong direction, my friend. As Bakuder goes down fast. Blab with a nice ice wall to let his team get topped up, but Scotch still does manage to die. This doesn't look great for the defenses. Now the damage is starting to come through for ADNB. Everyone's just running right into these rockets, and that is a death room if I've ever seen one. You guys in there need to go out and reset now.
Yeah, definitely. That's a whole strategy. It can be a very good strategy, but definitely playing too far outside of the doorway. They can actually contest it while they're still inside the room, or contest that card. It's a very interesting spot, but they are running this Bastion cheese. Freefy already having his ult. Of course, Senpai also already having the Rocket Barrage on, but they're going to have at least one more contestant that can come on in for this fight.
We're going down to downtown, but Freefy is going to go into configuration tank at the same time as these two teams are going to trade 1-for-1 so far. Keep your eyes on Freefy as he's found 2, maybe going to be putting out enough damage here to win this fight by himself, but it's a 4 versus 4 right now as Blab is actually getting some nice boosts up. There's a D-Mech onto Pendry. Freefy's trying to set it from the corner. Somebody needs to go take care of him. There we go. Mei chasing that motherfucker down, and Tree gonna get the finish off. This is looking good for the defense, but offense has a lot of spawns on their way right now. Starting maybe a little earlier, but watch out, they did get a res on Freefy on the side. Lab's doing a great job, though. He's zoning that Bastion away from the fight, freezing that robot.
Yeah, but Scotch unable to stay alive, having a healer right behind him, and we're going to see a Diva Bomb coming in, unable to get anyone as it's way too high to getting the Blue Boar doing so much work on the Mei, taking out Freefy, who's only the backline. That is so much damage for the side of the dabs, but they're going to still try to keep putting on. Oh no! Oh, that justice from above getting taken down so swiftly. And
yeah, that was some great defense out of Walmy, maybe. Especially Blabur was just popping off. He had his way with anyone he wanted on the other team. No wonder popped off a nice grab to take out the Bastion as they knew that was the top priority. Which, by the way, Freefy probably making a smart call here. So he swapped over the Reaper. Oh, Freefy is flanking. Freefy is up above everyone. Fat Mouth, run! Fat Mouth, no!
And the backline getting harassed so heavily by the damage. He's getting a great shatter, but gonna be counteracted with the Blizzard as Babur gonna be able to pick up everybody else, stalling everyone that he can with the Mei freeze and finding so much success on the Mei.
Oh man, yeah, what happens when 2 Reinhardts hammer each other? It's the Mei that drops the Blizzard on top of it all that's gonna win, and Walmy maybe decisively taking that fight. They've still got both their support ults available as we are, this is going to be sketchy 2-fight territory, but there's currently no ults available for the offense, and The Dabs, they're not even really close. They'll get a Valkyrie at some point. Is Preefy is flanking very aggressively, but he's already having to Wraith out here. Senpai trying to put some damage up, but they need to top these DPS off. Everyone is just being poked away at. It's now Scotch. This is his chance to go. Fatmal has popped the sound barrier here. Is all Dabs, no blabs, trying to chuck through these shields, but they've already lost one of their superstars. They traded for Tree, though. Is this fight getting kind of split here? ADNB are only 15 seconds remaining, so they probably have to commit here. The Wonder's got a big grab. He doesn't want to shoot anything into it, but no, Senpai's going to try to save this. He's got a rocket barrage. He only finds one before going down. No Wonder trying to solo carry this the best he can. There's a res on Senpai. Freefy Senpai both currently alive as Freefy just makes his way back to the cart. Tree finds nothing. It's just Batmel and Blabur, just Batmel, just no one. That cart gonna be pushed. Scotch is gonna have to die on this cart. He's buying some decent time though. Two of his teammates did make it back, but no ults here. I don't think there's gonna be a chance for Walmy to hold this one.
Yeah, definitely going to have to call it here, but a great defense, already getting them into overtime on this point 1, but they are going to be staggered as they go on into the streets phase of Dorado. So going to be interesting to see if they change anything up. Tree switching over to the Pharah.
I was just going to say that there is nothing to challenge this high ground for Walmy maybe, and it's going to be a disaster here on Dorado point 2. Tree going to try to take that all on himself, but man, that fight was very good for ADNB. Look at the ults. 4 of them available going into this next fight. Just Blizzard Hammer available. Although as we saw a few fights ago, Blizzard Hammer can be pretty fatal for Walmy.
Let's look over at Freefy. He's definitely trying to play that sneaky Reaper on the side, but getting caught out, gonna have to shift away with that Wraith form. Gonna take everybody and see as we're coming in with a Blizzard. Gonna be able to take everyone. Scooter getting no Wonder out, taking out maybe. Yep, he's going to go down, but great job of Blabur. Gonna be stopping everyone, seeing what he can do, but almost getting taken out himself. But a great Blizzard to stop the momentum of the Dabs.
Yeah, but Pendrai looks like he still wants to fight this. He's got Wolf and Senpai's Pharah backing him up. They did just trade for Tree, as it looks like they think they're going to still be pushing this guy. Yeah, they're finding the picks. They're pushing forward. Senpai's popping off.
Yeah, and Scotch alone. Phoenix Blades going to be following up slightly, but it's just the 2 of them, so they're going to be easily just taken down as the rest of the team are so split up. But a great wall going to be blocking away that Diva Bomb as they're going to be continuing on with this momentum, but it should give enough time to Walmy maybe to get at least one more defense.
ADNB actually stepped off the cart for a second there, and that gives Walmy an extra second. It's very valuable right now. Here we go, Hammer coming through. Scott gives a nice damage signal, one of the healers in the background. Phoenix trying to put a nice Kamehameha out from downtown, but this fight going very slow. Now Scooter dropping a hammer of his own, but it only hits 2.
Yeah, but a great job with Walmy maybe as they're able to continue on. Mighty Wolf keeps flying away. Die, coming out of Freaky, but unable to get too much out of it. Taking out Phoenix Blaze, a lot of the main heals coming out, but it's still okay because they have the majority of their team on Walmy maybe still on the point. 10
this is bad for the offense here as they were this is a last second fight. There's only 7 seconds remaining now. They have to touch with whatever's available. They weren't able to get a reset into an extra fight here. They're tossing out some panic ults here, but Tree is kind of popping off. Takes out Pendrai. Scooter going down. It's looking like it's going to be a hold. Tree popping that ult for good measure to make sure no one can touch the cart as Freefy will not make it on, and Walmy maybe is going to hold.
Yeah, and a solid defense coming out of them. They've actually shown a lot of improvement over the season, and with Blabur on that Mei, I mean, it is his one big comfort pick, but it's been very, very effective for him and his team as he's able to just zone out anybody that gets into his threat range.
Yeah, I really like this choice to put Blabur on the Mei, as we are seeing another new lineup here, I believe, as this is Blab and Phoenix Blaze starting Sam on the bench for Walmy maybe. I don't think they've run this specific 6 yet, but that's really been the theme of the second half of the season for Walmy maybe, is they're running a different lineup every single week, trying to figure out what works, what sticks. And this is one that I thought maybe had a bit of potential to it, so I'm really excited to finally see these 6 in action.
Yeah, gonna be interesting to see now that the Dabs have some time to show their hand for the defense. Gonna be going with the Rhine Diva play, so gonna be a very interesting strategy going on there. They will have the Shatter Bombs if they need them. Also, to Mighty Wolf on that Zenyatta, they will have the defense against a Wombo combo if they need it. And on top of that, they have the spam from Freefy on that Junkrat, and as well as the threat from that hit scan on Senpai with the McCree. And of course, Sword and Mace on the Ana for the heals with that anti-heal nade. So it's going to be a very interesting way how they set themselves up, looking like they're going to go for a very traditional defense, trying to stop them at the archway.
Yeah, but on the other side, it looks like this is it. Dreams come true. Don't let your memes be dreams. You can run Bastion. You can run Torbjorn. You can set it all up on the cart. Who can stop you? They're setting up behind this Orisa shield. And they are just falling the hell back. They do not want to challenge the high ground against this. As Blab does get slept though. This could be the chance. Blab taking some damage, but good heals coming out. This cart has now come to a stop.
Missing the shield though on the cart, so that's gonna force Flabur to stay off the cart. They're not gonna be able to do too much more, but he is a very open target.
Yeah, Blab goes 1 for 1 there as the team is still pushing this. They lose the turret as well. They do get a res onto Blabur, so we're going to enter phase 2 in this fight as the Mighty Wolf trying to get some right clicks down, some flank damage down as the Bastion has died for a second time now. Bedmel going down as well. And this cart is still moving though. This Zenyatta's playing very far back, but I think this is finally going to be held.
Man, look at Tree. Look at him going on in that front. And he's taking out Spagoda. He's already doing so much. He gets taken out himself, but that is a huge pick onto the main tank. That is one less barrier, so it gives an opportunity to continue on. But Bluer is going to switch over onto the main, knows that what he is comfortable with. Senpai getting... Oh, he's going to be stifling that momentum out of Walmy, maybe.
Yeah, just like that, it looked like they were going to have a spawn advantage on the side of the offense. Senpai stops that in its tracks. Still a decent spot for them. Well, it was till they lost Scotch nice and early.
Yeah, they need to find their momentum again. They have to regroup again. There goes down before. They have 2 minutes, so they can regroup. They have the time. They can build up the ults, but it is not looking too much in their favor as the ult economy on the Dabs is looking much more menacing than it is for Walmy maybe.
Yeah, we're just a little poke away from 4 ults available for Walmy maybe. Oh no, Badmel could not afford to get picked there, but Senpai finds the shots, and that's big. That's a Valkyrie unavailable in a fight where Walmy maybe really wanted to force their ults. They can just not challenge this high ground unless they're in that hook. Somebody shoot Senpai, Jesus!
I mean, it's one of those things when you're playing Ryan, you see someone right in front of you. Sometimes you just gotta swing away. But on the freeze, entire thing out of freeze, and the ults are gonna be coming out of the side of the Dabs. So this might bring some hope for Walmy maybe, as the economy of the ult is gonna be going into their advantage.
Yeah, rough stuff. Walmy maybe wanted to force ults there. They popped the Molten Core, or whatever it's called now, and immediately lost 2 to a tire. Freefy coming up big on his best hero. And now
we're gonna get right pick off onto the Mighty Wolf.
This is big. This is finally Walmy going into a fight with an advantage ahead of time. They just need to take care of Senpai, which it looks like Tree is opting into a solo McCree versus Farah duel here, as he has no pocket available. He is going up. This is very dangerous. Meanwhile, in the tunnel, both these teams starting to chuck out some damage, but no one's really going down. Nice res coming through, as now finally the damage is sticking for Walmy. Maybe they found 3. Senpai eventually loses that duel to Tree. Now this is going to get the cart maybe all the way to point 2.
They should definitely get them to point 2 unless someone does a ballsy play and tries to contest. But they should be conceding this ground. But this could be the momentum that they want. Mighty Wolf and your pen drive very far forward, but they're going to be going back in. But a great 2-man shatter. Scotch going so far in, it's going to be slept and completely messed up by the side of the Dabs. He was way too far forward alone, and maybe a bomb to try to get anyone, but on it, just going to be zoning people out of the way. Is no wonder alone himself going to be taken out, and no tank line, no front line to really keep anyone else going. So they might have to want to just back up a little bit before they go for another push.
Yeah, they look like they don't think they can quite get out. That's actually a nice defensive Maywall there that should let them disengage before they give over any more ult charge to the enemy team. We get our full reset here. as this is turning into a very brawly game fast. Ults available. We are closing in on a rocket barrage for Tree, but Freefy and Senpai already both have their ults. As here we go. Freefy tossing it out first. He gets nanoed. He hits the Q, and bam, he gets 3 kills. Easy fight.
And a great reset again for this defense. Still having so much potency. They only had to use 2 ultimates in the form of the nano boosted rocket barrage. But we gotta look at the DPS ults coming out of the Blue and Tree. They have the rocket barrage themselves with the Blizzard, so
yeah, I think they're gonna try to hold here. No wonder on the Zarya, 83%. That's the big one. I think they're gonna go no wonder into Tree's ults in a second here. So they just want to get that charge up. They're looking for it, but there's a huge hammer right in their face. Spagooter coming up big.
Justice reigns from above.
Continuing on with a big justice from above from Tree himself, but gonna be taken out by Freefy before being a one-man army continuing out up front as they're gonna be continuing on to push as they get into the final stretch of this point of Streets phase. Remember that they only have to get it to the point, but there's no one touching the card. They have to make sure they get as many people as they can as try to get to the point, and there's
that was still
minute
a
remaining.
huge stagger on Freefy though. That's a rocket barrage that's not going to be available. As now Senpai's down. That's another DPS all not available. Blaboor with a big wall, getting a pick out of the tank early. They have to force a transcendence, so might be able to buy time here. This is a quick open now. Scott with a great time hammer them into the ground. Freefy trying to build this one up, but he only finds one.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
The defense doesn't touch.
Nobody was on it. Nobody was able to touch because of that great graviton surge, and even Freefy was in the sky, but he was not able to jump down.
Play of the game.
Yeah, play of the game going to be Freefy, who had some big ones, even though his team didn't come through. But it's going to be this massive nano barrage here. Just gets right behind everyone. It looked like it was going to force his team into a good economy, but as we saw, was not enough to take the win.
But a fantastic job by Walmy, maybe. That has to be a huge morale booster for them, as they had a strong defense and a strong, offense. It was a little shaky in the very beginning, but they were able to pull it off later on
and this
in the
is
second straight.
a huge match for Walmy. Maybe they are not eliminated from the playoffs yet. They're 3.5 points behind Casting Couch, who, I mean, if we're being real here, hasn't taken a whole lot of points from any map or any team but Walmy. Maybe. Walmy maybe pulls off, maybe 2 maps tonight, especially if they pull off 3 maps. They are still in the thick of things heading into week 10. So, Freefy Senpai, if you're out there, I'd like you guys to do me some favors, win some maps, kick them like they are a dying dog, and put Walmy maybe out for my sake. Because I'm getting nervous here. Walmy, they looked much cleaner than they have in some of the last weeks. Especially last week where they honestly shit the bed against our team.
I mean, you have to think, this has all been scripted, Swift. This has all been scripted. And you know what? Walmy maybe is gonna make the gauntlet run through to the finals of the playoffs. I'm calling it here, folks. They're gonna make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, sorry, we're trying to map. I think a few people want to do it, but I don't think we're actually going to do it. We care a little too much about the competitive integrity in this meme league.
I would say no, unless both teams agree to it.
So yeah, we're going to be heading over to Eichenwald next, which should play out pretty differently than Dorado.
And gonna be very interesting because we're gonna be seeing that hybrid map coming out, and we have seen Walmy maybe be a little shaky when it comes to 2CP maps, but they are definitely showing a lot of strength on the payload maps that we have seen.
Yeah, it looks like their calling was a bit better that game than it has been. I am grateful that they didn't look like this last week. Let's be honest here. This does not look like the team that, I mean, honestly, we didn't have to try that hard to 3-0 last week. That they looked clean. They were resetting together. They were comboing ults properly. Just doing a lot of things that for most of the season they haven't done.
I definitely think they're finally finding their roster, seeing what they could play, how to play it, and I think the biggest strength that the Dabs can do right now is if they know how to specifically counter Walmy Maybe's composition. I mean, if you think about it, it's in their name. They kind of have to play May at this point.
Attackers incoming
Yeah,
in 30 seconds.
Eventually you have to do what you were destined to do, and that's Babur on this May, which I know he is more than happy to be picking, and it's working. They're playing well around it. He was playing fantastic on Dorado.
Get into position.
Yeah, although they were not able to get that that strategy that they wanted to begin with in that red room, they are going to continue on with this defense, going with the May, going with the Junkrat, with the Lucio Moira, finding Phoenix Blade's finding a lot more survivability on that Moira, so good for him.
On the other side, we got a tanky team there. Lucio boosting straight to the point. All that both labs going for the overwhelm comp. They have taken a lot of damage, but they haven't lost any lives just yet. Is this fight very split? Now, Slaughter Base down, 3P down. The fight maybe a little too split for the offense to win, but they're still only down one as Baku's charging away from the points. But Wolf and Kunin both go down, and that's going to be some late-minute picks over to the defense. Here's your pen dry. You don't want to try to boost out there. The Brewers chased him down. There's going to be a freeze. Oh, man, this is going to be a huge stagger. Or, you know...
Or they're just gonna, you know, allow it to just happen, because, you know, Brewer is a bloodthirsty SOB.
Yeah, you can't be a May player if you don't thirst for the blood of your enemies.
No, he requires that K-pop blood. As a May is someone from China, he requires that from Korea.
There we go. 2 round chives into each other's faces. Coalescence coming out. We've already seen 2 picks going in favor of the defense here. Make that 3. So that's going to be another hold. Only required Coalescence. They are in a great spot on all of them.
What is this team right now? Where is this team coming from?
Yeah, they're pushing out. And there we go. They're going to stagger this time. You're pen dry. You need to shoot them. Shoot them.
What? Where is this coordination coming from? All of a sudden, all of this... The only thing that all the Dabs can do right now is just hope that they can build ults for the ult fight that's coming up. But it doesn't matter because Walmy maybe also has a very solid ult economy on their own.
Yeah, this is going to be rough. It's going to be a very high-risk team fight coming through for ADNB. Can Freefy and Senpai come up big? Here we go. Gravitas comes out in 1. They're first. Tire coming out of the tree. This is going to kill everybody. They're only fights 2 though. It's now Freefy popping the Justice Barrage of his own. We see big trades here as no one is anywhere near this point. There's only a handful of people alive, but it's ADNB establishing on this point. His tree now going out to contest. He's doing a good job of dodging around damage. He's finding a lot of time for his teammates to get there, but he's not going to be able to get any heals in time. His tree is down. Batmel with a very, very bad sound barrier. It's just her and Phoenix Blaze. I don't see how they're going to hold this point as they're buying time, but they're not actually accomplishing much. Well, maybe they are because Scotch comes out with the there's no one to follow.
They're going to continue on with the front line, but we're going to be taken back, and Scotch and Phoenix Blaze going to be taken into that Graviton Surge to continue on to Mighty Wolf, getting great picks off the Scotch, who's going to continue on. The Dabs are going to continue on with their momentum. Still, minute left in this push, but it doesn't matter because they're going to be able to get onto the point, and they're going to be able to keep getting this cart pushed, trying to get onto the castle.
Yeah, we've been giving Walmy maybe credit all day about good team play, smart timings, and I have to criticize them there. They had time to reset to get more people grouped up before they recontested that point, but instead Batmel runs out, just completely wastes a sound barrier. And that's a fight that was at least contestable if Walmy maybe waits an extra 3-4 seconds and goes as a unit. But
and
they were too
I
panicky.
think Tree was trying to just get on there as fast as he could because he was the only person there, probably in that panic mode, you know, it does happen.
Here we go, Freefy already has another ult, but he's not going to find anybody with that one. This is the start that Walmy needed. They're going to lose Blab, though, right before the Blizzard was available. 5 versus 5 here. This hammer comes out, and now Coalescence comboed in. This is looking good for ADNB. So they're trying to Coalescence trio out the sky, and Wolf is going to be able to.
Nerf this.
Yeah, and we see the switch to the Widowmaker from Senpai and the pen drive, and it's clean up, no wonder, as they should be able to continue on with this push. Phoenix Blaze staying alive for a lot longer than you would think, as well as Batmel, but they are going to have their ultimates online soon, as they should be able to get at least one more defense on this second phase of Eichenwald.
Yeah,
they
got
have
a big
lot
ult
of things coming
advantage.
online.
They have to be very careful not to let anyone get picked here. As Blabooer, oh no! I just said don't do that, Blab! Don't do that! Why were you on the bridge? They have a Pharah. Pharah's always going to boot you. This is Overwatch. This is not your first season. And Blab blows it for his team.
But we
Scott's
don't have to
trying
worry about that
build
because
this out
Scott
with
is
a
coming
nice
in
hammer
with a
down.
double boop on that charge. That double boop on the charge is going to continue on going on, and even though he sacrifices himself in that noble heroic sacrifice, he's going to continue on Freaky trying to keep shooting, but it doesn't matter because the front line of the Walmy baby is going to be able to continue on with this defense.
Oh, but Freaky, though, he's bailing it out by himself. He comes down the flank, he fights too, but he's not able to push that cart. Walmy baby collapses back to the cart in time. This fight is still ongoing. Both of these teams trying to test here. Scooter's charging out. Scotch is down. It's just Blab trying to buy time. Blab is down, and I don't think anyone else is going to no point.
No,
6
they were able to get
meters.
it.
Batmel and Phoenix Blaze.
It is the tail of the supports again. No wonder coming back on in there is only the 4th member of the Dabs going to be coming on in. But it's Tree just not able to make it. But it's going to get booped away. Just a valiant defense coming in for 2 minutes, and we're going into point 3 for the Dabs offense.
Let's see you get
Lab gonna get picked out here as well. Not great. As there's been a lot of just late picks coming through here for Walmy Baby. They have not been as clean with their resets as they were on Dorado, and it's costing them big years. Now they are in 1-fight territory, and it's going to be an ult fight as both of these teams have a lot available. 4-3 in favor of the Dabs. Is the Rhine battle going through? Scotch's shield much lower as Coalescence comes out, but Phoenix Blaze already dead. Blab with though a huge blizzard, going to get just about everybody.
And a fantastic combo. That was a just amazing shatter coming out of Scotch, getting a 5-man shatter, making sure no one is able to do anything, and a follow-up with the May Blizzard to make sure, even after that shatter, nothing was getting up after that.
I wanna give some diva advice to all of you baddies out there. When you get demec'd, shoot the enemy team. Do something to put some pressure out and force them to kill you. This is another fight where I just see your Pendrive guys sit there aiming at everybody, but now here we go. No wonder. Huge Graviton. Is there anything to follow into it? It's looking like it's not. No wonder as the runner, they're trying to do the job themselves, but they're not able to. But it still might be enough. The CC chain turned into a lot of damage. There's a bit of a late diva bomb coming out of your Pendrive after this team had already lost 3. As this is gonna be a hole for Walmy.
And we're looking at the 40-second mark as we're going to be going into it should be a final defense. No wonder just doing so much work to stagger everybody else, and your Pendrive having to suicide himself. It's going to be one final push if someone can get to it very fast. They do have Sword and Mace on the loose though, so he should be able to touch.
Yeah, they have 30 seconds. They're not going to have an issue touching here. So the question is, what can they do with these ults? As they have both of the DPS ults available, but they are pushing into a tire, and we've seen Tree come up big in a lot of these situations with the enemy team with a predictable push, but Tree, no tire required, gonna take out Senpai. That's huge. And now Tree gonna try to end this with himself. Not able to. It's Freaky. He takes out 2. Takes out Batmel before she's able to pound the soft area. And that could be huge.
Yeah, a continued Kamehameha. It looks as though Walmy maybe has taken the disadvantage as we are going into overtime. But Labour being the only one, he's going to get super staggered, but he is buying a little bit of time for the rest of his team to finish, to group up and hopefully go in for at least a 5v6, but a beat drop for that Deadeye. It doesn't matter because Scotch is going to be taken down by the Deadeye as a shatter takes down the front line. And a beat! The Graviton Surge coming up and unable to follow up with anything as the Dabs are able to continue to get the picks as they need. But Blabbour coming in with the Blizzard as he's going to try to get anything, but gets taken down himself and is going to be the point for the Dabs. But I spoke too soon because Scotch is actually not going to be able to. But Blabbour actually coming out of it, and I'm actually speaking way too soon.
Yeah, they're getting people out of spawn. They've actually got 4 on the card here. This isn't the last chance, but your Pendrive dropping a diva bomb. Oh no, the bomb's gonna trade 2 for 2, but who stepped off?
I don't think anyone.
I think
really
the offense stepped off.
Score 0.
Wait, hold
The
it.
offense stepped off Tree with the tire and cleared everyone off. They didn't realize they were in overtime.
Spam poggers in chat, everybody, because holy shit, if this is not the hypest game out of the entire season of the Batty Overwatch League, I don't know what is, because I definitely thought I saw some movement coming on in, and that tire just
the tire won it, and what happened there was everyone was clearing off to avoid the tire. The tire gets the only 2 people still on the cart, and they were in overtime. You blink, you miss it. That overtime bar ticks out, and now Walmy maybe has the chance to win this outright.
And there is this glimmer of hope that we were seeing in Dorado, and we are seeing it again here. They weren't able to get all 3 points. There is no overtime. There is nothing of the sort, because we are going to see what Walmy maybe is made of right here as they go on the offensive.
Yeah, but on the defense, we've got Senpai over to the Mei saying, Blab, you're not the only man that can play this savage monster in the BOL.
Yeah, and I wonder if they're doing a little bit of a mirror match. They are electing to go double main here. Your Pendry going on that Diva with Scooter on the Reinhardt. We're going to be seeing No Wonder as well on the Zarya Ryan, which I feel is such a much more potent combination, especially since we know No Wonder is
so much damage. Immediately comes out a freebie there, though. You blink and you miss that. Walmy maybe had their entire team down to half in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, Senpai definitely trying to flex on Labur, saying, hey, I am the better Mei, especially since he is also using the pajama skin.
Yes, we'll see. There's a lot of ult available. Freebie, we're only 35 seconds into this match. He's already got a tire available. There's going to be a healer train to start this one, but Freebie going to try to kill everyone off, and yeah, that's 2 with the tire. That should be an easy hold for ADNB again.
And already 3 minutes in, 1 minute has gone away for this attack on Walmy maybe, and we should start seeing a few ultimates coming online. Freebie already having used the tire, but as we know, Junkrat able to get his ultimate very fast as he's able to deal so much all the damage that he has been.
Scotch has a hammer down available, but that's going to be it. His team a little further behind than Ultimate. Scotch probably going to hold on to this one as his team has already lost 2. As Scotch, your team had already lost 2. I don't know what you were trying to drop there, but that is a big waste of all out of Walmy. Now Scotch finally dies on the point for the reset. That was a really bad hammer.
Health restored.
That was please make it bad play of the game. Quote this, Scotch, that was a bad hammer.
And that's going to give ADNB even more of an advantage in the ult game as Walmy, they're starting to close in on some ults, but Senpai with the first blizzard of the match going to be wreaking some havoc here as his team's chasing on in. They're finding all of these kills.
And Walmy maybe not able to find any ground as they're trying to just get something with the Lucio speed boost, but Senpai on that Mei being so deadly, anytime they're able to just try to get to an advantageous location, are just getting snuffed out of their momentum.
Yeah, now this is the fight. This is the throw all the ults in a blender and see what comes out situation. Hammer down probably would have been pretty useful here, but we'll see what Walmy can do with what they've got as they're closing in on 5 ults. Now Blab the first one in. He is very deep, but he's got a nice blizzard, but he does end up going down. Both of these Moiras popping their coalescence is not doing a whole lot, just kind of poking away. So we got a 5v5 heading towards the point. Watch out though, this could be a big Diva bomb coming through, and it does find one. That's both the healers down for Walmy maybe. They did not get a chance to get all of their ults. Walmy failed on this combo as Scotch is still trying to save this one. He's in a tree. Gonna try to take this point. They get a nice combo. Will it be enough for Pendry? Trying to hold this point, as I think he's the only member left of the defense here. Spagooter did make it back from spawn, but they have no one else even close. And Spagooter does get a huge hammer, but I don't think he's gonna have the damage to follow. He gets one with the charge, but that's it. Creepy
Yeah.
is challenging high, but he is not going to be able to do this himself, and Walmy is going to cap point 1.
Yeah, and 30 seconds remaining, that will lead to 3 minutes on the second phase of Eichenwald. And what we're probably going to be seeing out of Senpai, if he does not want to stay on that Mei, he probably will stay until he gets that Blizzard and see how effective he can be. Scotch already getting taken out, but he might actually switch on over to the Widowmaker, who could be very, very potent on this part of Eichenwald.
Yeah, we will see if that ends up happening. As here we go, Senpai playing this one nice and far forward. A good Blizzard coming out. Batmel already down. Blabuer in a lot of trouble, but he's gonna make it out. As all Dabs go Blab is content to play this one very deep. They end up getting a late pick on a tree, and they haven't lost anybody.
Yeah, no, they are able to on with the progression. Everyone from Walmy maybe is just throwing their bodies away before trying to see if he can get something, but doesn't matter because he's gonna get taken out himself as he is so far away from anyone on his team. But gonna have that bubble as maybe he is providing space for his team, space created as he's gonna continue on, but gets taken out himself. But no wonder. Maybe see if he can actually do something, but maybe not as much as he thought he can. But Tree able to take out Senpai and Spagooter, but they're gonna be using that Graviton just to take out your Pendry. But at the same time, taking out your Pendry's ultimate as well, so that Diva Bomb is taken off the table, so not a bad consolation prize.
Yeah, probably not perfect, but it works. And more importantly, Walmy, maybe they still have 5 ults available going into this next fight, although there will be a lot available by the time a fight breaks out for the. So we'll see if they can get a combo. Keeping an eye out for Hammer into something. As here we go. Spagooter, I'm going to try to lead. Justice coming out of Creepy, and that's 2 kills for the defense. But here we go, a flank hammer out of Scott. But it might be too little too late. He did find Senpai, but he does not have any support from his team.
Yeah, and time again, although Scotch is able to get all those juicy hammers, he's so far away from his team, so not only he is able to reap what he sows, so finding a hard time to just get a combo with his team.
This is it. 40 seconds remaining. This is presumably the final fight for Walmy, maybe if they lose it. And they have already lost the Boer. That is rough. They're going to maybe want to try to do a quick reset here to get that Blizzard into this last fight. This is one of the few ults on the table, but it is a 5v5. They want to take it now. They lose Scotch. They have to commit. They either have to fight or they have to reset. They're right now doing neither.
Yeah, and this hesitation that's coming out of this team is going to be the death of them as we are going into 10 seconds left. Someone is going to have to touch and touch soon.
They do have a Lucio though. They will be able to speed on. They will be able to touch just fine. But Senpai gonna make it hard for him. Phoenix Blaze did manage to touch though, but Scott, you gotta charge towards that cart. Freaking out with a huge rocket barrage coming through. All Dabs, no Blab, dabbing out on this cart right now. They're picking apart everyone. It's just Phoenix Blaze trying to hold this with Trees. Trees gonna kill himself in the final moments. And all Dabs, no Blabs are going to win Eichenwald.
Victory.
You know, that's gotta be very disheartening when your own Mei stops your own Reinhardt's charge.
Play of the game.
Yeah, that was rough. They needed everything they could onto that card, but not the deciding factor. But some of the other deciding factors we did have here. Spagooter left-click machine here as his team captures the points. Bless his mechanics.
You know, the only way you have to play this game is just by clicking mouse 1 and W. WM1.
Now we'll see. Series tied up 1-1 as we're going to head on to Nepal. See who can take the 2-1 win in the series. As Walmy a lot less clean than they were on Dorado. That's really the tale of Eichenwald to me. We saw a lot of good resets on Dorado. We saw a lot of good ult comboing. And Walmy kind of took a huge step back in both regards heading on to Eichenwald there. Honestly, ult usage pretty poor. A lot of they'd already lost 2 people, and then somebody pops an ult. A lot of picking fights when they had big ults at 85 instead of waiting out a recharge.
You know, it definitely showcases that there is, a difference in understanding of the game. You know, sometimes, and of course, with how the league works, it is a game of the most common denominator, and so sometimes if you don't, and of course if someone is able to shot call that, more power to you. But if people don't know really how to go about that strategy, it can be that much more of a detriment to your team.
Yeah, so we'll see what they're able to do here as we head on to King of the Hill. Shot calling can usually be a bit different. Tempo, very different when you're on a King of the Hill map. You sometimes only get one big set of ults before you have to switch team comps up entirely. You can really only lose 3 or 4 fights before you lose a round outright. And so we'll see if maybe that plays into Walmy maybe style a little bit better, as this could be a big one. This is probably a must-win map for Walmy maybe. If they want to keep in the playoff race, I think they have to win Nepal. Or I think their season's over.
They're definitely gonna have to win this game if they want, at least a smidgen of hope to try to stay in the running for the playoff series. But I definitely think they have a good shot. They know that Phil Blabur on that May that can be very good, especially here in I believe it's Sanctum.
Yeah, Bang Sanctum we are on right now. As I agree, I think that King of the Hill is going to play more to the strengths of Walmy maybe, but with what strengths they have, this is still a very inconsistent team. That's really the tale of the night, and the tale of the season even. They just can't get the same level of production from week to week or from map to map. And so at this point, it's will they roll the dice, and will the better Walmy maybe show up or not?
Well, who knows? We are going to see as we have about 25 seconds left in the preparation. Blabur may be playing Soldier.
I would be surprised. I think they're just screwing with us, but
I mean, we all know he's only good at one and one thing only, and that is the May. So Blabur, get the fuck off of Soldier. Play May.
Yeah, Senpai's ready for the duel. Will Blabur match? As no, it looks like this Soldier is going to be a legitimate pick here. So they maybe want some more pressure for Freefy, as Freefy was turning into a big issue in that last game. Maybe they thought Blabur was going to be the guy, as both these teams challenging for this high ground off to the side. A nice wall. Going to separate Tree from this team, but he does make it out with his life just barely, but no, just barely not. Ends up being a 1-for-1 though. They did take out Swordface with his dying breath, and this is going to be a lot being traded here, but Freefy putting out a ton of damage on the Farah, and this is Walmy maybe being zoned very far away from this point. But this is
doesn't matter.
Walmy
maybe. Yeah, Walmy maybe, even though they did not see the ground of the point, they're still alive, and perhaps, if no wonder, can get a hook here or there. That will mean the difference of all they need. They do have that Roadhog, so that should take out the Rhine Shield that much faster. And who knows, maybe they can snag something from there.
Yeah, it's Batmel and No Wonder kind of holding this high ground, as Senpai getting set up on a pretty big flank. They've already lost the Mighty Wolf. Now, Senpai just, no one noticed. He just walked right at them, but no one saw them. That's okay.
Yeah, Blabur taking out himself probably from a Helix rocket as they continue on, but it should look like the advantage coming in on the side of Walmy maybe, but oh, what is that? We are seeing No Wonder getting taken out and already getting pooped off with the Blizzard coming out of Senpai. Just all these ults coming so fast from Senpai. Has been hard to contest from the side of Walmy maybe.
Yeah, though they do find 2 kills right at the end, so maybe Walmy gonna try to push this, as Blab did come through with some damage. They have both the DPS ults available. This is very hectic round of Sanctum so far. There's also a lot of ults available on the defense.
I've sighted the enemy.
Yeah, and Scotch moving in alone without any healer is going to be very dangerous. Already have health, but he is about 90% to that bongo.
Oh,
but
man,
Freefy already
that's a
taken out
huge
that
move.
That has to be so demoralizing for No Wonder as he's getting taken down by that environmental kill.
Yeah, as ults are still coming through, but they've now lost 2 before this tire's going to find anything. This tire's not going to find anything. Looking like it was a waste, and they need to reset. They cannot afford any more picks here. They want one more fight, but they are going to get some stangers here. Phoenix plays hopefully able to shift away, but you can't get through that wall, my friends. And that's big. That's 85%. Phoenix plays will not spawn in time.
Yeah, and 90%, so unless someone can touch very soon, No Wonder being a very sneaky. Oh, gets He's trying to get that that whole hog, but he's gonna try to steal everybody away. He's gonna be able to contest, being the only person left against that Lucio. But Sword Mace is he's gonna be able to stay alive just a little bit. No wonder.
Oh, no!
What the fuck is that?
Right into the hole! Oh man, how embarrassing is that? All his team needed was some zone control on this point. No wonder Taylor Q was clearing this point. Well, enough though, as Freaky rains down some justice and finds two. And despite No Wonder's heroics, your Pendrive's attempt to throw it, I think that all Dabs No Blabs are gonna hold this, as it's just Phoenix plays, and now it's just no one. And it's 100-0 Sanctum in favor of ADNB.
And it's just very demoralizing for the side of Wally Maybe. They had the chance to regroup, but they did not take it. They tried. They were just playing way too far forward than what they were allowed to, and the Dabs were just able to take full advantage of that, taking out just two crucial members for the attack of Wally Maybe. And you know, hopefully maybe in the second point as we get to this the shrine, maybe we'll see a little bit of a different Wally Maybe.
5, 4.
And we'll see Blab back over to the Mei as they are going to be running Blab the solo DPS here, a triple heal comp with Tree on the Brigida. Meanwhile, more of the same out of the Dabs. Honestly, they have no reason to change it. They haven't seen anything that makes them think that Freaky and Senpai on this combo is going to be slowed down. As both these teams charge their way out of the point. Gooter does go down kind of early here. This could maybe finally be a decent fight, but it is a 5 versus 5 right now. But no, it's Senpai down as well. Freaky gonna have to be huge here, but we know he can be, as his team is currently down 1.
The objective is now.
But Malmy maybe is doing a great job tree switching over onto the Vito, but Sword and Mace just making sure that they can't actually lock down the point yet.
No one was even looking at Sword and Mace for a good 15 seconds. Buys his team a chance to get 4 members towards this point to try to contest, as we are at a 6v5 in favor of Walmy, but the Dabs is gonna back off. They're gonna give that one over, but watch out, they have a big ult available already. Freaky already has that barrage.
Yeah, and double wall paywalls. Freaky not able to connect anyone up with that justice, but Phoenix Blade is doing a fantastic job with that coalescence. He's going to be able to do a lot of damage, making sure that that secures them at least 10 more percentage points.
Yeah, some chase down. They're going to get some late picks here. Big staggers forced by Walmy with a nice push. There we go. There's the D-Mech. There is the D-Ball. And so they're going to fight a few more. Why not? This is a lot of alt charge going over to Walmy.
And if you didn't catch it, Scotch and Spagooter having a clash of the Titans with both Ryans. And Scotch won, but then all of a sudden, Sword and Mage just comes in and casually just boops him off the ledge.
Yeah, maybe they stuck around too long there. That's 2 members that are not going to make it back to the point, and all Dabs No Blab's going to contest here. Senpai dropping the early Blizzard, but Scotch trying to match with the hammer, as now we have 2 Blizzards basically on top of each other. Freaky trying to come out big here with the Justice, but nothing to find anybody. This is very chaotic, but it's taking forever for these kills to come through.
And a big Graviton surge coming out, but the beat being dropped gonna mitigate a lot of that damage coming out of No Wonder. He is very, very healthy for recharging, but it doesn't matter because Chapnell is gonna make sure that the points stay on their side. If they're getting on a self-destruct coming out, see if they can get anyone. Phoenix Blade taking the brunt of that in a huge but the armor being brought out by trees, they're gonna continue on, taking the brunt of the damage from Scotch. Gonna be missing that charge, but it doesn't matter because they're going to be going into 90%, maybe into overtime, as nope, 95%, and the points are going to be taking on the side of the Dabs.
Still a nice hold there. It looked like they were going to lose that point at about 75, and they held it all the way up to 95, which means they win one more fight, they win the game. All they have to do is win one more fight. Maybe try to save some ults up, force the Dabs to use some of their ults. We'll see what happens here, if they go for a hard commit or not, as they are giving us big ults. Ults are all coming out. Big hammers in both directions, which means no one's able to find one. Freaky comes up big for the 100th time tonight. And this is looking like it's going to be a hole for the Dabs, as all of the ults available were used in that fight.
Yeah, and it looks like the ult economy is going to be a little bit reset here. No wonder with a fantastic Graviton surge, but unable to follow it up because everyone was just not able to get up those stairs to help out with the damage because they were having to deal with that.
That was a rough fight for the Dabs. Or sorry, for Walmy, but we're not going to have much time. As Senpai already down, that is a gigantic pick as he has been doing a lot of damage in these fights. Can they get the damage on his Scooter? He's being frozen, he's being chipped away, he is being killed, and now it's a 6 versus 4 in favor of Walmy. They have a Blizzard available. Your Pendra going to try to save this with the Diva Bomb, and it finds two!
Oh no!
They had to dodge that, and they do not! Your Pendra couldn't just save this round, save this map for his team!
You saw that before brought up that main wall, but it brought up Reinhardt. Scott unable to do defense for his team. Not able to do anything, but hopefully they're going to be able to do something. The beat being dropped, hopefully able to do something. Tree going to try to stay alive as they're going to continue on this damage with this computer. And a big shatter, but no one's able to do anything as they're going to be going on, and they should be able to take the shrine.
He's going to try to touch, but he will not be able to as he gets killed on his entry. And it looked like it was going to be a disaster there on that fight, but it ends up working out in the end. And Walmy maybe gonna force round 3 on Nepal, potentially season-defining round here as they try to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Yeah, and just an interesting conclusion as we're going to see play out. We're probably going to be seeing the same compositions. Tree finding out that he has been a lot more potent on that Brigetti.
Yeah, this is a good map for this comp that Walmy has been running. So I'm not surprised to see both these teams. They feel good about what they have selected. Gonna run the same stuff as last round. And we're gonna have Dabs going high, Walmy going low. This is going to be explosive fight at the points.
I definitely like what Walmy maybe is doing, trying to get onto that point at first, because they know they have that ability to do a lot more damage on the ground than what the Dabs does. And they are showing that right now with the kill feed, showing that they are getting kill after kill after kill, and they should be getting points on the board for them.
Yeah, a ton of ult charge will be going over them for that. Scotch already on fire. Big first fight for him as they are pushing forward. They want to see if they can find some picks, and they're going to get Spagooter. Gonna get your pen dry. Waste even more of that time.
Yeah, and fantastic job. And as we see Senpai switching over to McCree, knowing that he has had some very, very nasty plays coming out of that McCree, knowing he can click the heads, he can win. So I'm gonna see if he can find a little bit more. But look at this, Scotch. Look at what Scotch is doing. He's playing. He's not able to do too much, but he's gonna get a fantastic shatter. He's gonna continue on, try to hold on to this advantage. Counter charges on both sides, but justice from above. But it doesn't matter because the kill feed is already going into the advantage of Walmy, maybe.
The Pendrai and Senpai making their way onto this point. They look like they want to go for a 2-pronged flank here, but Senpai does them going down. Your Pendrai gonna get out, try to save his mech, and it looks like he'll be able to. But another good fight out of Walmy, big fight out of Scotch, and now Walmy maybe in a great spot on ults. They have 3 available and 2 in the 80s, whereas there is nothing above 60 other than a Diva Bomb for the other side. And for 60%, the clock is the enemy for all Dabs, no blabs here.
Yeah, as he says, in the 60%, almost the 70%, but they're going to be holding onto their position as we see Senpai coming in from the opposite side. In a great gravitas with this usage of ults, as they're going to be making sure that they definitively win this fight.
Oh, they might have won that fight too definitively. I hate to say it, but there is going to be time. Oh, Blabor with the pick of his life. He gets sword base. That was the Lucio. They needed to get everyone back to this point in time. Now it's going to be very difficult for ADNB to contest here. Is Blabor trying to step on this high ground? There's still a sound barrier available for Walmy, maybe. And they've got a Winston coming in. They've got a Monkey. Freaky gonna come in and just die immediately. This is a 6 versus 3. Your Pendrai, can he find a big Diva Bomb? No, Scotch will block it. His tanks have already gone down. Scotch dropping the hammer, and this is it. Walmy maybe going to hold for the 2nd time this season. They are going to win a match.
And we have to talk about Batmount. That beat drop at such a crucial moment kept that team alive. Scotch did not have his shield up. He was swinging away, but he did not have to worry about it because that overshield made sure that everyone stayed alive. giving Walmy maybe that 2-1 and keeping their hopes alive for playoff run.
Play of the game once again going over the losing team here. Spagooter did have this isn't really a 2 play of the games. They're just him holding M1. Okay, he gets a charge at least. That's a little better.
And you know, Blizzard with their environmental kills.
All right, well that's gonna do it, guys. As
Double
Freaky tried
69,
his
double 69, 69% kill participation, 69% kill participation.
Freaky has 37% of Team Zero damage. That's absurd.
That is
Freaky
crazy.
trying his damnedest to carry that round and was not able to. But that's going to do it for Game 1, guys. So stick around. We'll be switching streamers in just a second here. We will have Match 2 coming up in just a moment. Make sure you stay tuned. 3 Dans, 1 Cup versus Mad Cow Disease coming right up.